Why are you excited to be here tonight?
Because I'm just excited.
Yeah. No other explanation. Now, I do believe, tell me the truth, is it true that your dad has a ringside seat but didn't get you guys ringside seats?
That is true, but it's because of his YouTube channel, okay? It's his YouTube, okay?
Her dad's an influencer. Let him go, guys. But your dad's awesome, right?
Yeah.
See, he's awesome. Yeah! Give it up for Claire. Thank you so much, Claire. High five.
Can you believe that there are some people in this world that did not tune in to the Alliance Vlog podcast? Shame on you! Shame on you! My name is Ella Indy, and I'm one half of the NWA Women's World Tag Team Champion. And I'm Kimmy Page, the other half of the NWA World Women's Tag Team Champion. And you better go listen to the Alliance Vlog, what is it called? Podcast, period. Or you're ugly. Period. Power approved.
Hey guys, check this out. I am officially now sponsored by Dubby. Dubby is a clean energy drink made to give you focus with no crash. If you guys are like me, you're always needing a burst of energy, especially with one with no crash. Dubby contains vitamins, amino acids, a nootropic, and 150 milligrams of caffeine. It keeps me awake with no jitters, guys. Check it out. Merch link is in the bio. Dubby. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the pre-party, a presentation of Alliance-Wrestling.com. That's your number one source for news and information for the National Wrestling Alliance. My name is Jay Count. Every Tuesday, I come to you bearing the fruits of my labor. That sounded very inappropriate, Jay. Coming here to talk to you about pro wrestling, coming here to talk to you about the National Wrestling Alliance, and for whatever reason, my stream key isn't working, so we're not live on TikTok. Not on TikTok. Oh, it says we are live. Well, what's going on here? Are we live on Instagram or not? Can somebody tell me this? Are we live? What the heck? Sorry, guys. I apologize. This is something that we're trying out for the first time, and I don't know if it's working or not. It says I am, but I don't see it. I don't see it. All right, I'm going to check one more time, and then I'm going to give up on this thing. It does not say that I'm live. All right, well, forget it. We'll figure it out next time. Wait, can we do that? Can we do this live? No way. Let's try it. Let's see what happens. Save changes? Let's see. Did that change anything? Go live. All right. Well, forget that. I'm not going to spend any more time on that. What's going on? All right. Sorry about that. Okay. Now you have my 100% focus. Next time we'll figure it out ahead of time. Maybe I'll have practice afterwards. But yeah, this is the pre-party presentation of Alliance-Wrestling.com. I tried to not get too distracted, but obviously that didn't happen today. We're here to talk about some NWA wrestling. This will be the last time you guys see me until after Christmas, because I won't be here on Thursday. The Alliance guys will be joined by the other Alliance guy. That's a lot to say. Tim will be joining DK and Jaden. They have a fun show that they'll be doing on Thursday night. I won't be here for that. But let's talk about the NWA. Let's talk about pro wrestling. I see a lot of my pals are already in the chat, so let's say hi to you guys because you're a part of this too. This is a community. So I'll say what's up to Media Mike, who's working on dinner. We got Willie Bowen in the house. Bobby Batito is here. We got let's see. that guy Shrek is here. Noobs is here. So welcome everybody. Thank you guys for being here today. Willie says he'd love to see Ali catch Vipress, Rekka Tahaka, Cassandra Golden, and Jessica Havoc, and Courtney Rush, also known as Rosemary in the NWA. Now I feel like Willie, I feel like with all that's a lot of names. The problem is that some of them are under contract. I think Rekka Tahaka. I think she's been, I don't know if she's exclusive, but I know that she's been working with WOW. I know I've seen Vipress in AAA Lucha Libre. Jessica Havoc, I think, is, and Courtney Rush, Rosemary. I feel like they're all exclusive to TNA Wrestling, although that could change. But right now, I feel like that's pretty much the case. What I'm excited for when you talk about the momentum, hashtag momentum of the NWA and its women's division, is we're seeing a lot more new faces join the roster. Of course, last week we had Ali Rex join the program with the NWA. She also was joined by, oh gosh, I can't remember the other girl's name. I think it was like America, something or other. Two new faces that were in the ring with Taylor Rising. Of course, we're going to see the King Bees make a return to the NWA at the Paranorma tapings. Of course, we still have Misa Kate. We still have all members of Pretty Empowered. We have Roxy, who I guess is not a member of Pretty Empowered. We have Natalia Markova, for crying out loud. And of course, the women's TV champion. Wow. That doesn't happen very often, but I drew a total blank on the non-binary nightmare. I still can't think of her name. Why can't I think of her name? Why does this happen to me while I'm on live streaming? Someone help me out. Throw out a name. Maxie Impaler. Thank you. Gosh, that's embarrassing. I totally forgot Max's name. Little Baby Vader. And then Bobby Petito. Man, you're way too kind. I don't do a good job. I do an okay job. Let's get that straight. Speedball Mike Bailey lost to Maki Ito at a recent GCW show. See, I feel like GCW is like this whole universe unto itself. I mean, Matt Cardona as NWA World Champion, he suffered losses while he was working GCW. It doesn't really matter. GCW is kind of like its own thing. And it really doesn't impact, like, a GCW win-loss record doesn't really impact your standing in the NWA. Kerry Morton occasionally will wrestle for GCW. It hasn't really changed his stature with the National Wrestling Alliance. And it shouldn't. It's two different universes. Yes, free agent wrestling talent will go where the money is. And, non-exclusive talent, I should say, because Kerry's not really a free agent. He's just NWA first and anything else is after. But I don't know, man. It's I don't think that hurts Speedball Bailey, who's probably going to be the face of the new TNA Wrestling. Jammin' Music Man, Merry Christmas to you too, man. If you guys don't celebrate Christmas, that's cool. Happy holidays, of course. This isn't the movies. DKM. Oh, because what happens in one promotion shouldn't affect the other promotion. I mean, you say it's not the movies, but there's storylines in one company that aren't necessarily presented in another, and there's no obligation for one company to recognize the storylines of another. And I know you know this for a fact, DK, that in some wrestling promotions, people are mortal enemies, and other wrestling promotions are tag team partners. It's kind of hard to distinguish the two as being the same when they're so separate. So, I mean, look, it's really entirely up to the end user. If you want to believe that Speedball Bailey's integrity is hurt because he lost to a woman in GCW, okay. I mean, it doesn't take away my enjoyment from what he does. Yeah, that's stupid. All right. MJF got inducted in the Jewish Sports Hall of Fame. What does that say about MJF, that he's still very much in the infancy of his career? Like, look, maybe he could quit pro wrestling tomorrow. Maybe Maxwell Jacob Friedman can retire from pro wrestling tomorrow, and he would have a pretty good career. But I feel like there's so much more for him to accomplish. I think there's an inevitable WWE run for him. I'm almost certain that at some point he joins the WWE roster. Maybe it'll be in the second half of his career. But I mean, the guy's held the MLW. Well, did he hold the MLW title? Now I don't remember, and I'm gonna have to look it up. I know he held the CZW title, and I know, of course, he's the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champion, and he's the AEW World Champion. But let me see. Did he hold the World Middleweight Champion? Okay. Yeah, but I mean, in such a short amount of time, and a World Tag Team Champion with Richard Holiday. Okay, I thought I knew that. But yeah, I mean, that dude is like still in his infancy. I mean, I think he's only I don't even think he hit 30 yet. How old is he? He is 27 years old. So he's like 3 years away from hitting his prime, and he's already captivated the hearts of AEW. I feel like MJF is a good dude. I see DKM knew that. Let's see. I want to get to the other comments. Hey, dude, missed the card for NWA today as I can't see it online easily anymore unless I check the obscure site, which I can't bookmark the spot. Dow, we'll get to the card. I have it all up here, I think. Give me about 20 minutes and we'll talk about it if you don't mind waiting a bit. Jamming Music Man says, has anyone watched the NWA Joe Kazana show, How Caulfield Stole Christmas? Yes, sir, I did watch it, and I actually really enjoyed it. I feel like Joe Kazana Promotions is the embodiment of what you want an NWA territory to be. I feel like it is such a great partner to have for the Lightning One era NWA. And that's not to take anything away from what EC3 and Exodus Pro is efforting to do in Cleveland, Ohio. But I feel like as far as NWA wrestling, anyone who hasn't watched How Caulfield Stole Christmas, if you haven't watched it yet, go watch it, because I very much get, believe it or not, Jim Crockett promotion vibes. I really get, you have like, there's a younger audience there. There's, families, kids. You hear the girls screaming for their favorite wrestlers. It's such a throwback to like listening to the Rock and Roll Express come out and having the girls scream for them. Obviously different reasons, but still like it's so nostalgic for me. And I think that, again, it's such a great partner to be with because they use a lot of great talent in Joe Kazana Promotions. Already, the Thrillbilly, who's one of the hottest rising stars in the NWA currently, he's their heavyweight champion. Their women's champion was Freya the Slaya. I think she's still champion at this point. We saw Freya the Slaya on an early episode of the NWA Circled Square program that didn't last very long. But she also was the Ohio Valley Wrestling Women's Champion. I believe she lost the title to Tiffany Nieves, who has recently joined the NWA roster as well. So, yeah, I felt like it was a great show. If you haven't caught it yet, I mean, go check it out. Also, go subscribe to the Joe Kazana Promotions YouTube channel. I don't know how they don't have at least 1,000 subscribers. How do we have more subscribers here on this show, on this channel, than they do? It doesn't make any sense to me at all. Not that I don't appreciate you guys being a part of this show, but like, how the hell do they not have 1,000 subscribers? They're putting on a pretty fun wrestling show regularly. I'm on Long Island. That Jewish Hall of Fame thing must be well hidden, as nobody I know there has been there. I live in a town they call Matzah Pizza too. Okay, sorry, I don't know what that means, Dow. For myself, I don't mind much about the women loss. It's when a 50-50 loss or a loss not intelligent. Yeah, I mean, 50-50 booking is absolutely terrible. I long for the days where there were more jobbers and more enhancement talent. I feel like not everyone needs to be treated like a superstar, because that's how you differentiate. You look at a roster, especially like AEW, where there's so many good talented wrestlers. They would benefit from hiring some enhancement guys, people to just be there to lose. And the NWA, I feel like the NWA is married to this whole 50-50 concept of booking. They should definitely have guys who are there just to do the job, because it's so hard to distinguish who's who. I mean, you got a guy like Dak Draper, who a year ago was one of the hottest streaks in the NWA up until Hard Times 3, and then he got met when he lost the national title to Scion, right? So he lost the title to Scion, and he hasn't been anywhere near contention since. And I feel like that really hurt him as a talent. He wins one, he loses one, he wins one. Don't do that. Put a rocket on him and let him go beat up a bunch of nobodies. And if you're going to keep using Rush Freeman in this enhancement role, then give him some good guys to wrestle against and lose to. Let him be that mid-card gatekeeper role. Same thing with my pal, Jeremiah Plunkett. I love Jeremiah Plunkett, and I wish they'd have a better plan for him. But if they don't, let him be the gatekeeper. Let him be the guy that goes in and beats the nobodies, but then loses to the guys who are going to go to that next level. I just feel like that's one of the problems with booking today, and not just in the NWA, but in wrestling in general. Get that 50-50 crap out of here. It doesn't do the favor for anybody. I think MJF was a CZW guy I've seen in his older matches advertised for pay-per-view, along with maybe Penelope Ford or another AEW person. Yeah, I know that he was in CZW. In fact, one of the first times I got to see him live in Southern California, he was carrying that CZW title. In fact, he worked a couple of Dave Marquez shows as the Combat Zone Wrestling Champion. MJF inside is a good dude. I think so too, man. I really feel like he would be he's a great worker. He's a great worker. Maybe he never leaves AEW. Maybe he retires as a member of the AEW roster, but I feel like he's such a good worker that he's got people convinced he's leaving, and that's not even necessarily the case. Jay, you should watch TJPW. It's a Joshi version of DDT. Shrek, there's so much wrestling I need to watch that I'm so behind. Like, I'll be honest, the Ring of Honor pay-per-view that just happened last Friday, I wanted to watch that. I don't have time. For me and my house, it's the NWA, it's United Wrestling Network. I definitely want to get into MLW. I spend a lot of time going to live events as well. This year I went to, I think it was at 40 at one point, maybe 38, something like that. And it's hard to keep up with everything. What I would like to be able to do is watch a lot more MLW, and I would like to watch more Lucha Libre via, I know CMLL puts their content out on Twitch. I think AAA puts theirs out on YouTube. I would love to do more of that in 2024. Willie Bowen says Tyrus will bankrupt German toilet paper. Willie, what's up, man? Willie, I'm happy you're here, man. I don't know how you found this podcast. I don't know how you found this live stream, but I am grateful you're here, brother. Because even when they're bad, they're still pretty good. I love the Tyrus jokes. Please don't stop with them. They're always welcome on the pre-party. Bobby says, I'm interested to see who could be the next challenger for the junior heavyweight title in Colby Carino. Well, look, I would say there's a couple of guys already on the roster that make a lot of sense. First and foremost, I feel like Ray Fury is a guy that they're going to really get behind in 2024. We've seen him now twice. Well, he's only been on TV once, but he had a dark match on the tapings beforehand. And I feel like him and Colby one-on-one could be very, very interesting. I know we've got guys like Sal the Pal, and we've got guys like what's his name? Gags the Gimp. I know. But they can have compelling matches, especially in a junior heavyweight division storyline. Like, I really feel like, and I hate to say it, I'm not a fan of Gags the Gimp as a gimmick, but as the wrestler behind the mask, I actually really appreciate and respect quite a bit. I really like the guy that wears the mask. But I feel like the gimmick is so gimmicky that you're not allowed to have a good match with Gags. But I feel like if they allowed him to be, he can still be Gags, but allow him to be himself more in the ring, I think he'd be a great challenger for the junior heavyweight title. And there's a lot of guys outside of the NWA that make a lot of sense too. And it just depends on where the NWA is heading. Colby Carino is pretty damn good. Newsflash, Colby Carino is pretty good. It's funny because I was not a fan of Colby when he first came to the NWA, but he definitely has grown on me. And I feel like he's a good dude to represent the NWA. If you see him outside of the NWA, he's always defending that title. And he's probably defending his junior heavyweight title as much, if not more, than the Overman defending the 10 pounds of gold. And a lot of those matches are available on streaming sites like Title Match Network or Pro Wrestling Network. There's another one too. And it's like, man, I can't subscribe to 50 different wrestling content distributors of Fight and Fight TV and IWTV Wrestling. And there's so many out there. I can't subscribe to all of them, but I might have to start subscribing to some of them in 2024. Let's see. The girls screamed for the Von Erichs too. Of course they did, especially in Texas. The Von Erichs are like the Von Erichs are like the Beatles, and I'll say that in Texas. I really feel like AEW could have gotten a lot more mileage out of the Von Erichs, but hey, it's to be expected. I would have put them in a match with FTR. I would have put them in a match with the Young Bucks. I would have put them in high-profile matches. But if it's not a long-term thing for them, then okay. I want to find out what happens to Marshall and Ross after AEW. Are they actively looking to still compete in pro wrestling? Was this just a one-off to celebrate the A24 release of the Iron Claw? I almost called it the Von Erichs. But I like them. I want to see them hopefully in the Crockett Cup 2024. That'd be kind of cool. My favorite video is like JCP or NWA when they have the behind the scenes stuff with Hawk doing a line or them talking about each other with Paul Ellering reading. I know Freya the Slayer from seeing Hollywood Haley James wrestle her for ref matches with her in the Jasmine Allure and a lot of them. Yeah, I think Jasmine Allure recently got an opportunity to try out with the WWE. Let's see. MJF is the longest reigning. Yeah, this is true. MJF has held that title longer than anybody, which, I mean, speaks volume about what Tony Khan and AEW think about MJF as a talent. And, hopefully they don't go anywhere. But I really feel like he's destined to be a part of that WWE roster. All right, let's see. I'm looking forward to watching Dak Draper on NWA Power. Well, he's got a big TV title match against Mims this week, right? I think that's one of the matches. I like Dak Draper. They kind of scrubbed him out with Magnum Muscle when they claimed they took away the titles with Corgan. Now he's wrestling Mims for his TV title. That could be a start of something very, very good for both of those guys. The thing that Mims is lacking as TV champion is a natural competitor. I think when you go back and look at the former TV champions, the good ones had a solid opponent, a dance partner, if you will. I didn't like Tyrus as TV champion, but he was chasing the Pope when Pope was TV champion. So Pope would have his matches, but in the back of his mind, Tyrus was coming after him. And I feel like when you have a target and somebody that is considered a threat, it makes it more interesting. And if you can get Mims and Dak Draper to put aside their friendship and turn this into maybe an angle or a feud over that TV title where, it ends their friendship, it ends the partnership, and it becomes like a heated feud where that title goes back and forth. I think that's a way easy way to make that TV title relevant. And then you could have an opportunity while that's going on to have somebody like Mecha Wolf come in and win the title, or Kerry Morton to come in and win the title. Somebody to just mix it up. I really feel like the TV title should be like a title that's defended often and changes hands often. Thank you, Jeremy. If you guys could do us a solid here at the pre-party, the other Alliance Guys, the Alliance Guys podcast, put that thumbs up on the show. Leave a comment after the show that really helps with the algorithm. And if you share it, it's even better. This channel has grown so much in the last year, and it's because of you guys. You guys are the ones that are coming here each and every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. You're putting a pat on the back by being here in the chat. You're making my Tuesdays fun. You're helping the channel grow. Take it a step further and just leave those positive comments or negative. Any comment helps. Steve G, our buddy Steve G, who I didn't see in the chat today, he leaves a comment after every short. Good video. Nice video. Doesn't even have to be a whole lot. Just that interaction helps grow the channel. And if you are considering purchasing Dubby from the link in the description, make sure you type in the code The Alliance Blog. We just found out that recently a couple people had been using the link to buy Dubby, but not putting in that code. So they did not save 10%. and there was no credit given to this podcast for those purchases. So that was kind of a bummer. Noob says, I mean, look at Natalia Markova. She was in the AEW Dark and Dark Elevation matches. I know that everyone wants to see her signed to AEW, but as evidence, as of late, the AEW women's division is a hot mess. Noob, I'd argue that their division is taking a strong turn for the better as of late. Now, I haven't seen a lot of Britt Baker on AEW programming, but what I have seen is the maturation of Julia Hart and Sky Blue. You know, Julia Hart becoming the TBS champion, Sky Blue's character taking a step forward, Toni Storm as women's champion, plus the whole timeless gimmick, I think has been really, really cool. You were seeing Abaddon return to the ring and wrestle more frequently. Hell, Thunder Rosa came back. I really feel like the division is starting to take that next step. 2024 might be actually a very, very fun time for the women's roster in AEW. Now, I could be wrong. I'm not an AEW apologist, but I feel like they're about to take that next step. And look, there's a lot of people who are on the injured list, right? Like, you know, I feel like that roster, not just the women, but the men too, is about to take a next step forward in 2024. I could be wrong, but just watch. Question J, should NWA jobbers be big deals in the territories? Looking at Brian Idol as an example. Yes and no. Yes and no. Because look, if you're doing the territory right, if the territory is working the correct way, then that means that your territory is supposed to be representative of the NWA. So let's not look at FTW wrestling, because FTW has not officially been made a territory. Remember, Billy said that as long as Brian Idol was champion, they would not become a territory. So they're not a territory. Okay. But we know who is. We know that Exodus Pro and we know Joe Kazana Promotions are NWA territories. Well, who's the top guy in JCP? It's Thrillbilly Silas Mason. So Thrillbilly Silas Mason is the biggest name in JCP. He's their heavyweight champion, and then in the on Power, he is the national champion. Both those titles carry some credibility. If Thrillbilly was a jabroni on Power, if he was enhancement, if he did the pin me, pay me, right? If he was a part of the job squad, then it kind of hurts the credibility as him as a champion in the territory. Now, with that being said, I'm not saying that every champion needs to hold 2 titles, but like when Exodus Pro crowns their new NWA Midwest champion, and let's just say that champion was somebody like Jay Bradley. Would that hurt the NWA if Jay Bradley was champion in Exodus Pro? It probably wouldn't hurt Exodus Pro, and it probably wouldn't hurt Power, because on Power he's predominantly a tag team wrestler. But let's say he wants to transition. Okay, well, he could still be the Exodus Pro champion, and that wouldn't impact Power as much as you think it would, as long as he's built strongly. Now, at the same time, I don't think Rush Freeman should be your Exodus Pro champion, because he's used mostly in an enhancement role. Until something changes with that, I wouldn't put any titles on Rush Freeman on these other territories. But that could be a way to build him up as well. There, a guy like Dak Draper. Why not put the Exodus Pro Championship on him as a means to get to that next level, to get to the national champion, to get to the TV champion? The champion's pursuit should be the 10 pounds of gold, and you get there by winning matches. The top dog in JCP should be the guy that's looking for a fight with the world's heavyweight champion. The same thing with Exodus Pro. The top guy in Exodus Pro should be trying to get at a match with my brain is not working today. EC3, the Overman. Okay, let's see. Dow says, I knew MJF from MLW first. I think with Milo Beasley interviewing a bunch of some USA shows years ago. CZW, I used to think of just for like Weed Whackers and that kind of crap. Yeah, I mean, look, that's where it was. But he was there first. He was the CZW champ. He worked in MLW's the middleweight champ all before he got to AEW. Wow, I've been to like 2 or 3 WCW Nitros in person, with like 1 ECW WWF or CM Punk TV debut, all at Hammerstein or Nassau Coliseum. Yeah, I went to a few handful of WCW shows. I was at one Nitro. I was basically at the Nitro where they really introduced Goldberg, and like he had stole Mongo McMichael's ring. Like that's where they were going with Goldberg before they put him on the win streak. A new Joshi promotion popped up a few weeks ago called Sukiban, and it's run by Bull Nakano. I think I know a little bit about it, but I haven't seen enough to comment on it. Tiffany Nieves will be a great opponent for Kenzie Page. Tiffany Nieves might be your next NWA Women's World Champion. Don't count that out. Kenzie, the great thing about Kenzie is if she loses, she seems to fail upward. And I don't think the NWA is afraid to do that with her. If she loses the Women's World Championship, she licks her wounds and she comes back, maybe she wins that title again. That's one thing that we haven't had a lot of in the NWA is a lot of title changes for the Women's Championship. It seems like people go on streaks. You had Jazz was the Women's World Champion, and when she went to she was supposed to defend the title at the I believe it was the Crockett Cup. Yeah, it was Crockett Cup. She was supposed to defend against Allison Kay, and then she was unable to defend the title, so Allison Kay wrestled Santana Garrett for the vacant Women's World Championship, and then Allison Kay held on to that belt until Thunder Rosa took it from her. I think that was at Hard Times, the first Hard Times. I could be mistaken. And then that title was Thunder Rosa's until Serena Deeb took it on an episode of Primetime Live, and then Serena had that title. Serena Deeb had that title until Camille had it. Camille had it for nearly almost 2 years before she lost it to Kenzie. So I mean, that title has been like a fixture, hasn't really changed a lot of hands. So again, I wouldn't have a problem if we saw a war between Tiffany Nieves and Kenzie Page, where that title bounced back and forth between the two. Obviously, Kenzie is a qualified Women's World Champion, and she definitely got the blessing of the former champion because she did the job for her. But somebody like Tiffany Nieves, who's got a lot of stock, she's the Ohio Valley Women's Champion. She is the Mission Pro Women's Champion. It wouldn't be crazy for me to think that she could be the next NWA Women's Champion. Or, hey, maybe she's the one that takes the TV title off of Max. Look, Max, I think, is all cashed out, ready to go for the Women's World Championship, which means they're going to have to crown a new TV champion at some point. I wouldn't hate Freya the Slayer versus Max. Obviously, one of the things that Max has over most of their opponents is the size differential. Freya the Slayer matches size with Max. Maybe not as big, but certainly as tall. It would be interesting. Bobby says Freya the Slayer versus Camille. I'm not against that either. I would still like Camille to be around, even if she's not actively pursuing the Women's World Championship. I'd have Mims or Dak cheat to win tonight, and that would pull in the ties or something. I'm okay with that too. And I feel like Dax is a natural heel. I feel like it's been a facade to put him as a babyface. But, Tyrus is TV champion. He was chasing a chicken rotisserie dinner. I'm surprised you didn't go with the TV microwave dinner there, Willie. He's going to have some Salisbury steak, right? I try to remember to leave a comment after the live streams, but it takes a while to allow you to comment, so then I have to forget. That's cool, man. Dow, it's not like, look, you're not under any obligation, but it does help the channel grow. Buy and invest in W because it's tires repellent like so. Shrek. That's awesome, bro. Every interaction helps the Alliance algorithm. That's right, guys. It does. It genuinely does. AEW brought back Rio. Yeah, they brought back Rio, Thunder Rosa, and I feel like they're going to take that next step. It's all a hot mess, but at least has talent. I think DK was talking about the women's division in AEW. I feel like it's starting to get a little bit more clearer. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, look, I was there at the Honda. It wasn't Honda. The Kia Forum when Ronda Rousey made her debut for Ring of Honor. And I know it was just a one-off, but people were so excited about that and started running rumors that she was going to join the AEW roster, that her and Britt Baker were going to fight, or her and, you know, the women's champion, Toni Storm. And none of that came true. And it doesn't have to be like that. She could just show up wherever she wants, but there's talents like they still have a Ring of Honor women's division. And although there's talents there like Lady Frost and Willow and a few other talents, like, look, there's enough opportunity in the women's division between the TBS title, the AEW title, the Ring of Honor Women's Championship. Hell, they even introduced the Ring of Honor TV title for the women. So there's a lot of opportunity to showcase women's wrestling in that company. And I feel like really, if there are opportunities to showcase the talent, that there better stories will be told, and hopefully we get better matches, better talent. Yeah, Rosa's back. I thought it was pretty rough when they trashed Abaddon coming into the mix. Then Thunder Rosa's not looking in ring shape. I don't even bother with AEW anymore. I thought Thunder Rosa looked great when she had that run in, but I haven't seen her wrestle much, so we'll see. Also, it's stupid to have Julia Hart team with Sky Blue after the spitting. The mist didn't work, so it's like a 180 or 260 or 360. Yeah, I feel like it did work. I feel like Sky Blue, they refer to her as Sky Black on commentary. She has taken a different character ever since that whole thing happened. So I think it's cool. I'm ready for it. I think character development is always fun. So I'm cool with that. Let's see. Okay. I know I didn't. Many of these guys were in these other promotions. So for me, it don't really matter if they're good. I have no clue. That's fair. Willie says, I pray that Coastal Championship Wrestling will be in NWA Wrestling territory. I don't know. I mean, look, do they really need to be one? Could Coastal Championship Wrestling, with their whole Florida Championship Wrestling from Florida, I know that's their vehicle that they're looking to start. What if that takes off like OVW? Do they need to be a part of the NWA to be successful? Does the NWA want them to be part of, do they want that kind of Billy's going to have a certain level of control what happens in the territories. I don't think he cares about the day-to-day operations, but he's going to certainly care about who they push, because those are guys who eventually are going to end up on Power. So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Rush Freeman is a serial killer. It might be. I don't know, man, but it might be. Will Tyrus show up on the Food Network for Christmas? God, I really hope not. Dodie, is it called mukbang, where the people watch you eat on camera? A mukbang video with Tyrus? Wrestling God, hey, I don't think I've seen you on here before, but I'm happy to have you here. Tell us about South Florida, man. You've got a lot of NWA action coming to the state of Florida. I don't know where in proximity that is to you, but I know that there were many events last year in Florida, and there'll be a couple more coming to Fort Lauderdale in just a few weeks. Hope you will be there to catch that action. I see Jazz defended the NWA Championship against Penelope Ford at like the NWA 70, something I think it was. Yeah, it was a fun match. Penelope Ford wasn't super over in terms of the NWA. She was popular from her hanging out with Joey Janela type thing, but I felt like they could have had better opponents for Jazz, but it was a good enough match. It showcased Jazz, let her get some offense in. When Camille had the Burke, didn't she wrestle Taya Valkyrie multiple times? Multiple times. They had matches in Mexico. They had matches in the U.S. There was a triple threat with Taya and I believe Kylan King. Yeah, she had a lot of matches with Camille. Camille will steal that championship from everybody, even if she has to win TV first. Oh, Kylie, excuse me. Kylie, I think Kylie might be the shock of all of it, right? I think Kylie is so good at such a young age that she might even be better than Kenzie. Don't tell Kenzie I said that. Bobby says, I'd like to see more of Mo Jabari, on NWA. I think so too, man. He was pretty good. I think that matchup that he had with Colby was really solid. The match that he had with Kerry Morton was said to be really good. I didn't get to see it, but I would like to see it at some point. I think the NWA might still have Genocide, but not sure. No, Genocide and the NWA have parted ways. I don't think there will be a reunion anytime soon. And she is a big one. Max currently has 7 successful defenses. Yeah, I thought that I had read that Max was all set to go to challenge Kenzie for the world title. And maybe that happens at Paranoia. Maybe it happens at one of the events, the TV tapings afterwards. But could you imagine? I mean, remember when Max does challenge for the women, for the Burke, right? When Max challenges for the Burke, she doesn't have to just beat Kenzie. She has to beat Kylie. She has to beat Ella. And all the tricks that are up the sleeves of Pretty and Power. Camille did wrestle against Taya Valkyrie during her title reign. Yeah. AEW was more exciting when they were pushing the young talent more. I agree with that too. I feel like some of the edge has been taken off now when you have guys like Adam Copeland there, but I would argue that Christian's run in AEW has probably been the best Christian that there's ever been. So I mean, you have to find a balance. Oh, I eventually got to that DKM. In fact, ROH women are greater than the AEW's women division. That's solid. Bobby says, I'd like to see Colby Carino versus Mecha Wolf. Mecha Wolf, he was on the podcast. You guys saw that. He did say that he could wrestle in the junior heavyweight division. But personally, I'd like to see him in the TV title hunt. Either way, I would be good. I'm a huge Mecha Wolf proponent, especially with him winning an NWA title at some point. I got to be honest, I don't see anybody taking the national title off of Thrillbilly, but Mecha Wolf would be a guy who I think would definitely help the NWA as champion. Let's see. I'm looking forward to seeing Markova in action tonight on Power. Like I said last week, I don't mind if NWA had plans for Markova in 2024. I think she does. I would do mukbang videos if I was really hard up for money, if I could monetize it. Look, I'll be honest. If someone wanted to pay to watch me eat, I'm down for it. Let's go. I'll go get a pizza right now. I'll get a Costco pizza, big pizza, and I'll put that down if someone wants to pay me for it. Wrestling God, 1 hour away from Fort Lauderdale. You should go, brother. It's standing room only, though. So if you have any conditions where standing for a long time might prevent you from enjoying the show, then don't. But man, I drive 2 hours to go to Mexico to watch Lucha Libre from the Auditorio de Tijuana, and it's some of my favorite wrestling I get to watch. Jack Cartwheel wrestled at Ring of Honor Final Battle 0 hour against Brian Keith last Friday. Cartwheel's more or less I know his number one is AAA and everything else is secondary. I think the same thing with Willie Mack, if I'm not mistaken, that he spends the majority of his wrestling live in Mexico, but he works for a lot of other independent promotions as well. And I feel like he's worked Ring of Honor too. So that's the kind of the cool thing about Ring of Honor. And I've heard people say that, hey, they should just turn Ring of Honor to what Pro Wrestling Guerrilla is. I don't hate that idea either. I just don't think that's going to happen. Jody wants to see more of Spencer Slade in the NWA. However, he better kick Spectacular's ass. I wouldn't hate that either. Slade was pretty badass. Yes, both of them, Mecha Wolf and Bestia, were at the XPW show in LA. Tyrus Christmas mukbang at Food Network. Could you imagine just watching him, just speaking his rhetoric that he does and talking about politics and just eating cheeseburgers or turkey legs or mashed potatoes and gravy, spaghetti, a big bowl of pasta where he has to take the spoon and he's stirring it up and taking huge bites. More Parmesan, please. Okay, so let's see. That was a good time. We'll get to some of the matches that are happening tonight. Again, this looks like it's going to be a fun hour of Power. Well, obviously, I don't have all the posters up, but this is the advertisement for Power. Why do they put? Why does Gags that Gimp get front center coverage here? I feel like there's better options. But one of the matches we'll see tonight is 6-man tag, the Southern Six versus the Miserably Faithful. At this point, they're the only 6-man tag teams that exist in the NWA. There is no Spectaculars with 3 partners anymore. I mean, I guess you could put Spencer, Slade, and Rush and Rolando as a 3-man tag, but I don't know. I hope this is a squash because I just looking at the roster, right? Looking at the straight up, Silas Mason wastes Judeus every day of the week, and Rocky, Kerry Morton. Wow, I really need to start doing something about my brain power. Kerry Morton over, I guess, Sal. Yeah, of course. And then Alex Taylor over my boy there, Gags again. But I feel like it'll be a fun match, but I hope it's more of a squash than an actual competitive match. Get that 50-50 booking out of here. Then we've got, of course, the mixed tag match, Tom Latimer and Camille versus Brian Idol and Natalia Markova. Now, I feel like this might have, storyline-wise, a little bit of history based off of what happened at FTW Wrestling. I'm not entirely sure, and honestly, I don't know if it's a good or bad thing. But I feel like this is one that you probably don't want to miss. I feel like this could be a lot of fun. I do want to pull out this, though, as well. I'll get to that in just a minute. Let's see. Also, the EC3 Matt Cardona face-off. Now, you got to remember, right around the time of these tapings, well, I guess a little bit before, over at WrestleCade, that EC3 teamed up against Matt Cardona in a intergender 6-person tag team match. Cardona teamed up with Steph Lander, and I don't remember the other person, to take on EC3, Angelina Love, and Fodder. So, I mean, I don't know how that's going to play out here, but we know that they are scheduled to be the main event at Paranoia. So, yeah, I mean, the card looks pretty good. I also believe they're going to have the TV title match with Dax Draper and Mims tonight as well. I don't have a poster for that, but I'm looking forward to it. First of all, I never put Miserably Faithful and MFers together, which is brilliant. Poyo, what's up? Thanks for being here. Poyo, a good friend of the show. Poyo is killing it on TikTok lately. If you guys haven't checked out what Poyo is doing there, go follow Poyo on TikTok as well as on Twitch, because Poyo has a great content. I enjoy watching what Poyo does. Oh, Wrestling God. That's right. Chagon Medina. That's right. I forgot. Well, you should definitely try to get out to the shows that are happening next week. No, not next week. In like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I don't know. Check the calendar. The shows that are happening, I think, on the 14th and the 15th. Dow says, I bet I can eat more than Tyrus is always the smaller guys. I eat a lot of organic baked, what is that, fusilli? So I'd win. All right, man. Go for it. Dow wishes Poyo Merry Christmas. I wish you all Merry Christmas. I'm just glad it's Idol, not Mercurio. Yeah, I'm glad they dropped it. I think they still try to allude to it in the commentary. Oh, that's his cousin. Twin cousins. Well, twin cousins aren't really a thing, except for in soap operas, I guess. EC3 will accept Matt Cardona's challenge. I mean, I don't think that's a surprise to anybody. I can't recall, but I think Kenzie won over Max already once, but don't know. Kylie Mini more than her, so not alone. I think Kylie, at such a young age, she's so proficient in social media, and that is a big deal because the NWA only has so much time to put over their talents. I think it's very special and unique when a talent can get over on social media, relying on that social media presence. And I feel like she does that better than Kenzie. I hate to say it, better than Ella Envy as well. And I feel like that's going to help her grow as not only a wrestler, but just as a brand, right? Because everybody's a brand. I'm sure Poyo will back me up on this. Everybody in wrestling is a brand. You market your brand to an audience where you can sell merchandise, you can help them buy your tickets, they can help promote your events. Like, look, Poyo's a brand. Poyo will tell you this themselves. Poyo did a wrestling show in Palm Springs. It wasn't, the Palm Springs Wrestling Federation. It wasn't an NWA show. It was a Poyo wrestling event because Poyo has that brand. And I'm someone who enjoys what Poyo does. I think Poyo is hilarious. I think Poyo is a great advocate for pro wrestling. Poyo does a good job of getting talent over when she's a manager. I feel like Poyo behind the scenes is doing a lot for the NWA that none of you guys know about. And I feel like what Pollo's done on the website has been great. What the fans have been asking for years. Pollo knows this. Pollo's a brand. So I put over Pollo every chance I get. And I've said Pollo's name like 15 times now. I guess the point I'm trying to say is somebody like Kylie, who knows how to take advantage of social media, take advantage of that audience, that's going to help her grow her brand. And while she's attached to Pretty Empower, it's going to help Pretty Empower grow as a brand, where they're not going to just take matches in the NWA or just take matches at Crossfire Wrestling, but they're going to take matches at New South Wrestling. They're going to get matches at Southern Honor Wrestling in Georgia. They're going to start getting matches. They're already working for JCP, but watches Kylie and Kenzie and Ella Envy grow and start competing outside of the NWA is Pretty Empowered. That's going to be it. And I think a big driving force of that is Kylie on social media. She's good in the ring. Don't get me wrong. She's great in the ring, but I think she's even better on social media, which is a very important part of any brand. Fuzz is here. What's up, Fuzz? I believe it's a storyline, most likely. It might lead to Natalia Makova training Hill on Idol. That would be weird. I don't hate it, but it would be weird. Let's see. Today just passed 10K followers on TikTok. And that's the dates. January 13th, 14th, 13th in Fort Lauderdale, 14th in Tampa for the TV tapings. Pollo, maybe you can't explain, but what's going on for this live signature event? Is this just another like house show TV taping, or what's the deal? Is this going to air exclusively on the CW app? Is it going to air on both CW and YouTube? Is it going to just be on YouTube? What's the deal with that? If you can't answer, that's okay. It's on his official NWA bio. He's Mercurio's identical twin cousin. Pollo, you know I love you, but I hate that. Luthez is in the house. What's up? Kenzie defeated Max in the tournament finals for the women's TV title. And then Max got that victory back to win the TV title. And so now the rubber match will eventually be for that world title because Max has the best of 7 with her. And of course, Kenzie's the world champion. She's got a bullseye on her. Where's Mercurio now? Yeah, see, Pollo gets it. 100% her own brand. The reason why, when I first started this podcast, no, not the podcast. The podcast too. When I first started the website that I used to cover the NWA, it was called the NWA Wrestling Fans site. Very long name. I didn't have that registered or anything. But the reason why I changed the name to the Alliance is because at some point, I don't own the NWA name. I can't brand that. I can't put that on a t-shirt. I had to break off and have my own brand, which I did. And the same thing, the original name of the podcast was Alliance Radio. And then for a long time, we were Talk NWA. Well, that's a cool name. It's very clever. But at some point, I don't own the NWA name. I had to change it, which became the Alliance guys. These days, anybody can get a pro wrestling tease if they play their cards right. I think all you need is 1,000 subscribers on Twitter. That's all it takes. Max social media is one of the best out there. Absolutely. Max gets it too. Max is a brand. And Max gets it. That's why Max is wrestling in Finland and defending the NWA TV title in Finland or in Japan or even in Los Angeles for the Joshi promotion, carrying the TV title, carrying the TJPW International Princess title. But all of that is a Max brand. And don't sleep on that for sure. You know, even our pal, the world's heavyweight champion, EC3, he's a brand. He's definitely a brand. The people who understand how to market yourself in pro wrestling are the people who seem to get the most notoriety. Camille's a brand. Camille was the women's world champion, took the Burke all over the world, and half the time wasn't even in an NWA ring doing it. That's a brand. I'm just a big fan of Candy, so I don't know if I'm the best gauge. That's fair. Each talent is responsible for using their individual social media to get themselves their matches and the promotions which they have affiliated over and exposure. See, that I'm glad that you backed me up on that, Pollo. Dodie Mercurio is a shady South American country with Scion plotting their revenge. Oh my God, that would be amazing. Okay. Fuzz, you just sold me on that. Amazing. You have Mercurio team with Scion, not Zion, but Scion. That would be great. I would love that. I saw a lot of those sisters, Kylie or Kenzie, from this dude I'm subbed to on here. Did camera work for them and many promotions. Erratic aperture. Okay. There's a great non-NWA sketch with Markova and Idol at a funeral, I think, where they destroy them. Destroy each other, I mean, okay. The signature live event is a TV taping which will air similar to how our Power Trip shows did from Oak Grove, Kentucky. Okay, fair enough. So we are filming Paranoia, then we'll likely use bits of the CCW versus NWA Viva Revolucion live event, which immediately follows Paranoia same night, same venue, different roster of talents. Yeah, okay. Max gets kayfabe too, like MJF, doing it right. Yeah, 100%. The Patty Duke show was identical twin cousins, one American, one British. All right. Fine. Identical twins. We'll go with it. Especially if Mercurio's down in South Africa, South America, with Scion plotting a revenge. I'm all for it. I will say this. Our friend of the show, Danny Deals, sent me the info. I just am not able to put it up at the moment. But there is a sale going on right now at the NWA shop, NWA National Wrestling Alliance.com/shop. 25% off. No coupon code required. This is good until Christmas Eve. If you've been meaning to get some NWA merchandise for yourself, now is the time to do it. 25% off. That's not a bad deal. You can get yourself a EC3 shirt. You can get yourself a Kenzie Page poster. You can get yourself a That was 2 foam fingers. I can't believe they're selling that. You get yourself a Southern Six shirt. You can get yourself a NWA shirt. Sorry. You can get yourself all kinds of good stuff. Remember, that's nationalwrestlingalliance.com/shop. Take advantage of it while you can. They don't always have great deals, but this is a good one. Oh, yeah. See? Let's see. Poi, with this signature live event, replace pay-per-views for the NWA Supercard, or will they still be doing pay-per-views? Poi also points out they have new merch from BFT, Colby, Max, EC3, Pretty Empowered. Yeah, it's a good time to buy. 25% off is a pretty good deal, especially at Christmas time. Most of us are spending money for everyone else, spending our money for gifts for everyone else. You want to get yourself a little something, save 25%. I think I got 30% off my Aloha bars recently. Now I think I'm hooked on the coffee one. All right, thanks, Tao. Thanks for that. Got more rhymes than Jamaica's got mangoes. Fuzz, what does that mean, bro? Did I miss something? Sorry, that's a line in the Beastie Boys after they talk about Patty too. Oh, God. At least thank you for explaining it. I would have been lost the rest of the day trying to figure that out. Natalia Markova can be awesome in the ring, but there's barely any creative plans for her ever since she joined the NWA 2 years ago. I feel like there's a lot of people are like that, dude. And I feel like, unfortunately, Noob, a lot of people on the roster fall into that. They did put her in a match against Camille, one of the best matches at the 75th anniversary show. I feel like Markova has risen to the opportunity when they gave it to her. They did put her in a storyline with Taylor Rising as they challenged Pretty Empowered for the tag titles, but there hasn't been a lot of follow-up after that. So I don't know for sure what they're going to do with Markova, but as Poi will probably tell you, keep watching. I'm sure some stories will evolve. And of course, I don't know if she's even under contract or not. She could end up somewhere else at some point down the road. We don't know. But I feel like the more – I always say this, if you like a talent, make sure you support them. Make sure you're tweeting what they're saying, engaging their activity on social media, engaging in that brand, right? That's what I was talking about. The more that brand gets engaged, I think the more that talent gets the opportunity to shine. I know that they do measure the social media presence of the talent. I'm not saying that because they're the most popular person on Twitter, they're going to get the world title. But I feel like if you think somebody deserves to be in more NWA matches, just politely tweet at the NWA, tag them in your post, and say positive things about the talent. It's the best way to help them get over as a fan, besides buying their merchandise, besides attending the live events, besides being in the chat during the NWA live programming. Make sure you're supporting them on social media as well. That's how they will get recognized. At least I think. Poyo tells Noob what's up. Markova has been in more stories, more angles, and had more title opportunities than anyone on the freaking roster except Camille. Kenzie, too. I'll say this. Kenzie's had more opportunities at the title than anyone else. Kenzie, for a while there, was like always the opponent for Camille, it seemed like. Markova versus Max and Markova versus Camille have been great runs. Yeah, I feel so, too. And I don't feel like we saw the end of Markova and Max. I mean, they did have that huge match at Hard Times 3 where Markova was put into the casket. The casket seemed kind of out of place other than the fact that there was a voodoo match in New Orleans kind of made a lot of sense. But, yeah, she's had some, as everyone's talking, there has been a lot of opportunities for Markova. Hopefully she gets more. Like I said, just keep pushing that out there. Oh, wow, it's after 3 o'clock. We should probably end the show, but you guys have been a lot of fun hanging out with on this Tuesday. So I am going to say thank you, and we're going to end the show right about now because you guys need to get over to the YouTube channel NWA and watch that event. But I do thank you guys for being here again. We do have merchandise available. The description is in the bio. The link is in the video description. Also, if you are going to purchase Dubby, a lot of great flavors of Dubby. Make sure that you use the Alliance blog as your code to save 10% off of your purchase. It really does come in handy if you're needing energy, especially around the holidays. It won't get here before Christmas, but it might be here before New Year's. And, New Year's, you might want to be staying up late, and that'll help you. Lastly, the programming note, tomorrow we'll have the other Alliance guys here on YouTube. They start at 3:05 Pacific, 6:05 Eastern. Or excuse me, 3:25 or 3:35. Sorry, butchering that. Or 6:35, and then of course the original, the OGs, the Alliance guys will be here. Filling in for me will be Tim of the Alliance Gold, also DKM and Jaden, as they will discuss many things in pro wrestling, including the NWA, and they'll have some AEW talk as well. You want to stay tuned for that. Again, guys, you are all so awesome. I appreciate you being here each and every week. We'll be back. I'll be back next week, the day after Christmas. I'll show you all the cool wrestling stuff I got. And just to let you guys know, I did miss the last WOW show because I'm a moron. And I'll tell you that story another time. Maybe I'll do that on a podcast. But until next time, guys, you guys have been great. A Merry Christmas to one and all. And if you don't celebrate Christmas, have a very happy holidays. And if you don't celebrate any holiday, just enjoy your time with your family. And, well, that's it. We'll see you soon at the matches. Thanks for checking out the Pre-Party, a presentation of Alliance-Wrestling.com. You should hit that subscribe button and join our community. I also want to remind you that we recap NWA POWERRR every Thursday, 8 p.m. in the live stream. We try to stay social, so find us at the Alliance blog. And until next time, we